Hey, Carl here for ProAV TV. I'm at IBC 2017 at the Atomos stand talking to Jeremy about some new products. Cool, so Jeremy, what are we looking at here?
So this is the Sumo M. We've had a lot of really big interest from rental houses, cinema production, as well as the kind of 1 to 3, 5-man operations that are doing weddings and videography kind of events. And they're using it for customers to see, to make sure that their productions client monitoring. It's good. Play it back. We like having a big user interface to show off, our operating system. But the request has been, can we just make it a monitor? Because a lot of people go, it's got recording, I'm not going to buy it as a monitor. Can you reduce the cost of it? So we worked hard in the background to kind of take off the things you don't need for recording. We left the hard disk in there, so this is no recording version. The first Atomos product that's a monitor with no recording.
I was just about to say, is this the first one?
I know, I feel like I've given up like a little baby there.
Exactly, because you started with recorders with no monitors, then you put a little bit of monitor on it and it was okay, you sort of just showed you what
and then we upped that level and
it
became really good monitor.
Yeah. Is
but
that a bit weird for you?
It is a bit weird. However, we've still got the 3D LUTs. We've still got but it allows us to use a bit smaller chip so that cost goes down. We can pull off XLR connectors because we're not recording analog audio into there.
Is it smaller dimensions and weight?
It's exactly the same. The weight's a bit down because we've taken off connectors and stuff. It's not significant. It's probably 5% down. But it does give us the opportunity to reduce the cost by $500. So that's pretty. And
it's already quite a good price.
Yeah. So it was $2,500 US, which who knows what pounds pricing that equals today, and this is $500 less than that. So this is $1,995 US. So I mean, what does that end up in pounds? It's like 1,200 pounds, or
it's roughly the same now.
About the same. Okay, I don't know. I'm thinking three years ago.
Pricing is obviously up on our website.
Yeah. And I think that kind of price point is driving the ability to have a large monitor at the prices that used to be for these smaller monitor recorders.
The key thing is that it's a good discount off because it's probably about a quarter of the overall price or something of the whole monitor.
It is, and that allows, I think, one of the reasons we did it was to get into this higher end production. They can buy 10 units. $500 over 10 units is a lot. But then now it allows our traditional market, which we still know and love, and is that smaller production company, and it gives them the ability to kind of show off their wares a lot more. It's HDR, it's 1200 nit, it's high bright for outside, and it gives you the 3D LUT capability for the higher end productions. It takes the RAW in, it does 4K 60, it's 12G connections, and we've got a couple of cool features like selectable input. So we've got two 12G inputs and an HDMI 2.0, so up to 4K 60, but you can do multiple HDs if you want, and then you just touch the screen and it flicks between. Which brings me on to my next point, which is the YouTube integration.
Now this is really interesting. Let's explain. I mean, let's start at the beginning with HDR. You guys have been pushing HDR right from day one.
Year and a half now, product in the market. And people are really starting to understand what we're really offering. It's an exposure tool. It helps you make sure you get better SDR as well as being able to deliver HDR properly. And those things are important. Better SDR, I'm going to say that again, better SDR, and HLG to go to SDR TVs. So that's really relevant for today. You don't want to record a resolution that's going to be relevant tomorrow or into the future and be left behind. That's why people upgrade to 4K. Well, HDR is that. You need to be able to keep the footage or deliver it today in what people can play back on their TVs. It's
arguably more important than 4K.
It is. Well, I think it is. Yeah. And HDR is just visually beautiful. I hate to say it because our products are 4K, but you don't really need 4K on the size of monitors we're viewing, especially phones and anything up to, like, say, 50-inch. It takes a pretty big TV to see the difference between 4K and HD. But you add in HDR to any of that, and it just becomes like the human eye sees. You get that real perception of reality. And that's what people like. And creative people are wowing us every day on how they actually utilize that in productions. And that's what I love about this industry, is that we give the tools, they use it. We go a suggestion on how they use it, but then they really show us how to make it fly. And
you learn a lot from talking to the customers.
And part of that equation is people like YouTube. So Google guys, Google's a hot company, obviously. Why? Because they're in tune with their customers, and YouTube is a big part of that. the developers at YouTube have pushed a 4K HDR channel live. The problem is, how do you get 4K HDR up there? How do you encode it correctly? How do you do that?
Yeah.
So they approached us at NAB this year, so 6 months ago, and we've now implemented into both of our platforms, the Atomos platform for our products and their YouTube HDR platform, we've embedded a flag into our ProRes file to make it easy for professionals to upload their content to YouTube. So inside our ProRes file, there is a PQ and a HLG flag.
Right, so this does work off the existing formats. It's HLG and it's PQ.
And we say what we were recording at.
And that's done on the Atom HDR engine.
Correct. And that's inserted into the ProRes file. It can be inserted into the DNX file, but we haven't finished that implementation yet. We're still in talks with Avid on how to do that, but that will be coming. You take the ProRes file, you point YouTube to it, and it automatically uploads it to a format that will be read on TVs today. If it's an SDR TV, it'll display HLG. If it's a PQ TV, the latest ones, it'll display the 1000 nit PQ.
So that's very interesting, because you don't have to choose between them.
You don't have to choose.
And we're not entirely sure what the standard for HDR is going to be.
End up, well,
that's quite
I think
important.
HLG is going to be, my opinion, after being in this market for a year and a half and dealing with cinema right down to daily work on school events, etc., that HLG is the right move today. Yep. But you need to keep a PQ of that.
You speak to a colorist, though, and they're going to have a very different opinion. So we're just not sure. So I really like that you've added PQ in there.
Yeah, and look, 90% of TVs today is still SDR, and HLG looks great on them. So that's the real reason. Right?
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. The other point is that PQ is still evolving inside the TV delivery. We're able to do it at 10.5 stops. The sensor probably can do 11 or 12 in reality once it's converted from analog to digital. So we're 90% of the HDR capability. You then pump that up to YouTube and you are viewing that on your TV today. It means it's relevant to promote that to your customer. It's relevant to use that as a selling point to your customer. And you can show those customers real content on their TV today on YouTube.
And it will save you time in post-production as well, because you don't have to do a complex grade.
That's correct. That's correct. So really excited about that partnership. And probably the last thing I want to say about that is Google and Atomos are committed to making that workflow really simplified. Being able to upload from an S-log source, S-log 3 or whatever, being able to come from a V-log source, that's what we can offer them.
Yeah, you've got all those technologies built into the Atom HDR engine.
And we'll just put those metadata flags in on both sides. Now we're in with the engineers. It's good fun. So we're really proud of that. And I think it also shows our position in the market of a leader. People say, you're a great video company. We're a tech company that just happens to be playing in the video space. And that's how we really view ourselves. And that our focus is just to simplify using technology. We don't really care about the way it was done yesterday. We should listen to the way it was done yesterday, but we want to find a new way to do it. And I think Google, Facebook, those partnerships are huge for us into the future.
Excellent. Now, there was one last little bit I wanted to talk about with the monitor side of it, going back to the Sumo, was this new user interface.
You like it?
I do like it. I do like it. I don't know if you've seen my video before, but this was something that I talked about in the original review of the Sumo, where you had so much real estate here along the bottom.
I did see your review. We love watching your videos. Yeah. So
I'm so happy you've added this.
So we realised that, from originally we had small monitors and there was only a few functions. And as we went to more functions, especially Inferno, there's just a lot going on. So we tried to condense it because of those. With this bigger monitor, what we haven't done in our current operating systems is allow user assignable buttons, quick access ones. We've wanted to do it for a while, but we haven't been able to achieve it. This forced us to move the time code up here. It forced us to put the headphone adjustment on the top line, which then freed all this up. We've still got audio and everything down there, but we basically moved all these top functions. The top functions are the on-offs, and the bottom functions are the adjustments.
Yep.
This area here, again, same area for monitor assist, same area for which type of monitor mode. We just pulled all those top ones out and dumped them down here, and it allows us to now do on-off really, really fast, which is like a button-based.
Peaking, zebra, it's just so much better when you
and
can
it's
just
such a simple
instantly
change, such a simple change, but such a big difference for usability. And if I want to do 2-to-1, see how the fire's going in there. And so this is recorded on Phantom at 4K 25. They're recording at 960 frames a second in 4K, and then pumping it out 25, and we're recording it uncompressed to ProRes directly from the sensor.
It looks fantastic.
Doesn't it look awesome?
Yeah.
And so these are the kind of things that this monitor is now enabling us to do. An Inferno can do it, but you want something else that's what's he doing? That's coming from there.
Never mind.
Yeah, I know. One of the users.
But so is this coming to the other monitors, or is this just coming to this one? Or?
It'll be coming to the other monitors. We're going to give you the ability to map those, to move the user interface around.
Cool.
Because we realise that that's really your workplace. Yeah. It's like do you want Final Cut to look a bit different? Sometimes you do. So do they give you the ability to move stuff around? Of course they do. Yeah.
So if I don't ever use zebras, for example, that's a button I can put something else there.
Yeah, and we should be doing that inside our operating system. And this is the Atomos original team is now back on the products full time. And the reason for that is when you grow a company so fast like we did, there's other things to think about along the way. We've now sorted all those things in the last 6 to 12 months. We've been really focused again on our users, and you'll be seeing a lot of those incremental just niceties coming back into the product because we do really care about the customer. They make
such a difference.
They really do. And I think that's the difference we had against competitors. We lost a little bit of that over the last year or so, but it's now back and we're moving faster. I think it's the speed. We always had it at our core, but we didn't really deliver it fast enough. So now you're going to see this rolling out. It used to be the
main reason to use one of your products because it sped you up.
That's right, and we're back to that. So we're really happy to make sure that these changes roll into the other products. And this really shows how much functionality we really have. I love things like you put a safe area on, and it's so easy to see what I'm going to look like in a 235 kind of scenario. Absolutely. And a lot of people don't know or want to use that, but if you do need it, it's one touch away.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for your time.
No problem.